I think that it will be a big help to those listeners as well. So thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for being the blessing that you're being to others out there. And I look forward to following along.
Thank you so much, and thank you to your listeners for listening. And if there's one thing I could say to your listeners that they can take away today is always remember your best is yet to come.
I love that. Your best is yet to come. And remember, the answers are always within you. Thank you so much, Diane Williams, and I hope you have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the year. So we look forward to having you back on the show.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. Thank you, Tony.
Okay. Folks,
Bye-bye.
We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back with my next guest, Wendy Nolin. She is the president of Change Agent Careers. She's a career development coach. And, she's been doing this now since 2008, so I think she has a few years of experience under her belt. We're going to find out her successes, what she does, and how she helps others out there. And remember, check out Diane Williams. Go to her blog. It's called mindofagoddess.wordpress.com. Check her out. Interesting stuff. Great book. It's very inspirational. If you need a little shove today, if you need a little push, this is a book that you can pick up and remind you of what she said. The answers are always within you, and the best is yet to come. So we'll be right back with my second guest in here in just a second.
Did you know that an estimated 52 million Americans listened to Internet radio in the last month? Or that weekly Internet radio audience has increased 60% over the last year? And that more than 8 in 10 people are online from any location? Tough Talk Radio Network is a company dedicated to providing a platform that allows opportunities for guests, hosts, and sponsors to market themselves to the Internet radio media where they can be heard by millions. To find out how Tough Talk Radio Network can help you, go to toughtalkradionetwork.com.
Listen to The Legal Eagle and The Coach each Wednesday from noon to 1 p.m. on Tough Talk Radio Network. Leading local and national experts in business will share their keys to success so that our listening audience can be educated and entertained along the way to becoming all they can be. So whether you're new to business or highly experienced, The Legal Eagle and The Coach with hosts David Alterburn and Brian Kaiser is a great radio program for you. For more information, go to legaleagleandthecoachradio.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. My name is Tony Gambone. I'm here every Wednesday from 10:30 to 11:30 Central Standard Time, and here on Workshop Wednesdays. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, go fill out a form by going to www.workshop-wednesdays.com. Be able to select a date that's available for you and your schedule to come on the show and share what you're doing. And remember, Diane Williams was our first guest, and one of the things that I wrote down that I liked what she said was the answers are always within you. My second guest is a young lady by the name of Wendy Nolin. And as I said, she's the president of Change Agent Careers, and I want to welcome Wendy to the show. Wendy, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Tony. How are you today?
I am doing awesome. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Fabulous. I couldn't, if I was any better, there would be two of me.
There you go. I love it. I love your energy. That's awesome. So, Wendy, I'd like to get people to find out a little bit about you first. Where are you calling in from, and where are you from originally?
All right. So in that order, I'm calling from Austin, Texas, just a little ways off to your west from Katy, and I grew up in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Really? And what part of Pennsylvania?
About 20 miles outside of Pittsburgh, in a very rural part of the rural community there.
Because I grew up 20 miles outside of Philadelphia, which is about 8 hours from where you grew up.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so fellow Pennsylvanian, fellow Keystone Stater. I love it.
Yeah, and I grew up right outside of Valley Forge, a little town called Knoxtown.
fantastic. Yeah, I'm from a teeny-weeny little town called McDonald, just like the restaurant, but not associated with it. And I'm even more remote than that. We grew up about 5 miles outside of town, and we were literally way back in the sticks.
So let's talk about how you came from way back out in the sticks to Austin, Texas. I mean, there's a jump.
Yes, for sure. I did it the really efficient way. I left home when I was 18 and went to Phoenix, Arizona. I went almost as far away as I could from home. Spent 5 years there and started working in the airline industry with Alaska Airlines. And because I was working for Alaska Airlines, I ended up working in Alaska by moving up to Anchorage and worked up there for 3 years at the Anchorage International Airport. And then I left the airline industry, went into sales in the luxury retail space, left Alaska, went back to Arizona, but this time in Tucson for about 1.5 years, and then left Tucson and came to Austin, Texas, with that retail company, and left luxury retail in 2008 and started my own coaching company. So I've been in Texas now for 13 years.
Yeah, I've been here 17 by way of Las Vegas after 20 years in the casino business. But I came here kicking and screaming, and I got to say it was probably the best thing I did in all the years I've been doing things. So this is
right. So
awesome opportunity.
Oh, right. And I hear transplants like us, the expression in Texas is, I got here as fast as I could.
Yeah, you know, I run networking groups in the state of Texas, and people say, I'm not from Texas, but I got here as fast as I could. And I say, you know, right. I got to tell you, I came kicking and screaming. I didn't want to come here, but when I got here, I was very happy to see that it was a melting pot, and the economy's never taken a dip here, so it's always been a great opportunity for business owners here in the Houston area especially. And, you know, if you ever go to Austin and you don't like Austin, then I don't know what part of the country you should be living in, because it kind of has everything there. So, all right, so I know that you and I have a mutual friend, Chris Sprague, and I follow his stuff a lot, and I'm really interested in finding out more about your business, your company. Sure. How did you decide, you know, who you wanted to be coaching, and how you created those opportunities? Yes. Yeah,
great question. So I love telling this story. You know, as I mentioned, I was in the airline industry for 8 years, and then I was in luxury sales and management in the consumer goods industry for 10 years. And in 2008, you know, nothing significant was going on with the global economy, wink, wink. But I had reached a point in my profession where I was really burned out. And I was in retail, working nights, weekends, and holidays, and I just got tired of it. So in 2008, I quit my job. But the bills, unfortunately, I was listening to Diane, your guest before me, and she was relating a story that I can totally understand. You know, even though I quit my job, I didn't have anything else lined up. And whether you get fired from a job or you quit your job, you don't have an income. And the bills don't stop coming for some reason. I couldn't quite figure that out. But just because I didn't have an income didn't mean the bills stopped coming. So it took me about 6 months of kind of driving myself crazy, trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I was very unsuccessful. What I ended up doing was working with my own coach, who helped me discover that what I was good at, that I liked to do, was in fact coaching, training, and mentoring people. So that began in 2008. At the end of the year, I started my own coaching practice. And in 2009, it took me till about, you know, the end of 2008, beginning of 2009 to actually get my first client. And as my coaching skills developed and I started to attract more clients, you know, 2009, a lot of those upper-level executives and C-level executives that were starting to get laid off in 2008 were starting to run out of their severance packages, right? They had that income, but they were starting to run out of that money, and they saw the end in sight of their severance, and they knew that they needed to get back into the workforce, but they had been unsuccessful thus far. So what I did was started, to attract those upper-level executives because they hadn't been in a job search in 15 or 20 years. And some of them even took it as an opportunity to say, well, I'm kind of done with the corporate world. What else can I do? And, as a result of quitting my own job in the worst economic time in recent history, I ended up coaching a lot of those upper-level executives. And then what I ended up doing is, as those people became reemployed, I continued to work with them on, ongoing development. Some of them I helped them start their own businesses. And I realized that, when you start at the top of the ladder, if you will, in the corporate structure, you tend to learn very quickly and you learn how to speak their language. And then you just have a tendency to continue to work in that space. So I continued to work in that space. But again, these folks started getting reemployed, or I was only able to coach them up to a certain point with my existing skill set. So I went about continuing to develop my own skill set and really starting to evolve my company to be able to continue to coach those upper-level executives and managers by adding business and executive coaching to my practice. So Change Agent Careers is my LLC for the career coaching side, but then I morphed into and added a business and executive coaching division, which is really where my focus is today, continuing to work with the business owners to help them grow and develop their companies, and the executives to continue to grow and develop in their careers, and some of them even to transition out, right? So it's an amalgamation of my skill set over the course of the last 7 years, and that's what brings me to today. And now what I'm continuing to do is develop and hone my own skills as a coach by having my own coach and starting to write. I've published my first book, and I'm in the process of finishing my second book project right now, and I should be able to publish that book either end of August, beginning of September.
So you stay very busy.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, I don't. Busy is a 4-letter word, Tony. I like to say productive.
Yeah, see, that leads into what I was going to ask you, I guess. How do you find a balance? I mean, I know you work with people that are in high-level positions, and they, I would assume that there's that life-work balance thing that takes place that everybody kind of hides from. How do you personally create that balance for you?
That is such an awesome question, because you know what? As a coach myself, I have to be a product of my own product, and I have to live the same principles that I coach my clients on. So the program, one of the business coaching programs that I offer builds in that balance. It's my flagship product, which is a 100-day coaching program, and in it, what I do is I focus on 2 business-related goals and 1 personal-related goal that I work on with my client throughout the 100 days. And I myself go through, my own 100-day coaching program. I self-coach, and I also have a coach that holds me accountable to my 100-day commitments. And so in my 100 days, every 100 days, so that's basically 3 times a year, I take myself through this 100-day coaching program with the support of my coach. And I include 1 personal goal and 2 professional goals. And then that way, I make sure that in the course of my own professional development and in my own coaching, that I'm maintaining that level of balance. Now, it's never going to be a perfect balance, 50-50 all the way across the board. We all know that life really is, a seesaw. I mean, there are days when it's going to be more work and less Wendy, and there are days when it's going to be more Wendy and less work. For instance, yesterday turned out to be an all-work day and very little Wendy time. But then on the flip side, prior to that, I had a 3-day weekend last weekend, and there was no work going on. So, I look at it as overall that's significant balance for me. And interesting that you should ask about balance, because my first book is the top 10 best investments in yourself, and it's all about small, inexpensive, or no-cost things that you can do for yourself to invest in your own well-being, your own mental and physical health, and, things that you can do that, like Warren Buffett said, the best investment you can make is in yourself. And these are small practices that you can engage in, if not